reproduction or other commercial use of this recording in whole or in part is prohibited.
How we doing, guys? Myself, Chrispreddie OBE, hitting you with a quick one. Piers Morgan says the lockdown is over, and I don't really blame him. The government hasn't really gave us tangible understandings on what we can do over this lockdown period. Can we go out? Should we keep our 2 meters distance? Do we not keep our 2 meters distance? They're saying stay alert. The information that they've put out is very much unclear. How we doing, guys? Myself, Chrispreddie OBE, hitting you with a quick one. Real talk, true season. Piers Morgan is now saying the lockdown is over, and you know what? I don't blame him. The government hasn't gave out really tangible understandings on what you can do and what you cannot do. Take a look at this.
The lockdown has ended. They just haven't said it's ended. And they're basically...
No, it hasn't for everybody, has it?
Well, pretty much, yes, because the police have now said they're not going to enforce it, which means that basically anyone can do anything. And unless you're to be honest, unless it's people like us who are well recognisable, anyone can go out and meet anybody. How would you know who they're meeting? Nobody knows who they're meeting.
No, but we have to trust society to be responsible. That's why we're giving them the information on which to base what they do and how they behave.
Have you seen the streets? Have you seen the roads? Have you seen the
I've seen the buses. We've got pictures of the buses from yesterday.
This is the bus yesterday. It's back to normal, Hillary.
And you know what, Dr. Hillary, I do not blame people for not social distancing, because how could you possibly organise with strangers staying 2 metres apart?
But this is what happens when you say, I trust the British common sense. This is what British people will do if basically the message is, oh, it's no longer stay at home, it's be alert. But they just go back to normal.
But some people don't have a choice, do they?
Exactly.
They have to.
Actually, everybody on a bus has a choice to stay 2 metres from somebody.
You don't have
No, here's my point.
When did you last get on a bus?
No, I've been on a bus.
Unless there's 4 people on a bus, you cannot stay 2 metres away from anybody else.
I was about to make my point. When you leave a bus, as they were just doing, right, you could, if you wanted, wait, and then someone gets off, and then...
Piers, where do you wait on the bus and you're not next
you're missing
to
my
somebody
point.
else?
I'm not criticising the people. I'm not criticising the people on the bus. I'm saying they're just going back to normality, and it's very difficult to maintain, as I said the other day about even outside a shop, a 2 metre thing. So because it's so difficult to maintain, in fact impossible, as we've seen from that bus, that's been replicated all over the country. The lockdown is over. I mean, they can call it what they like, but the lockdown is now, as we can see from that bus picture, I don't blame any of those people, because the message from the government is no longer stay at home. And this kind of lack of social distancing is happening all over the country.
The only way you could have social distancing on a bus, surely, is if the bus companies say we're only allowing 6 people on a bus.
But they're not going to, and they've not been told to. So, of course, they're not going to. And the government wants the economy to be back. They want the bus companies to make money to put into the economy. So here's the question for you, Hillary. From where I'm looking, we've got very good news today about the antibody test, which is great, and we'll come to that in a moment.
Yep.
That's one of the 3 things we need, don't we, to sort of really move forward. But in terms of the danger of the virus and the lack of a vaccine, to me, it's as dangerous today as it was before we went into lockdown.
Yep.
So there's no actual medical or scientific sense behind what we're now doing. It is a purely economic action that the government's taken. And to me, they've rolled the dice. They don't know how it's going to end up. And we may end up in 3-4 weeks with a wave of new infections and deaths. I mean, we don't know, do we?
No, we don't know. And I think public transport is one of the major risk areas because people can't socially distance. The tube, the bus, the coach, aeroplanes, people are sitting close together or standing close together. They can't socially distance. Face coverings are advised in that situation, but offer limited, there's limited evidence that they're effective in protecting you or stopping droplet infection from people who are asymptomatic but have the infection. And I think that is a real worry. You're quite right, the virus hasn't changed, it's still out there, and there's probably more people infected now than there were at the end of January when we had our first 2 reported cases. And that's why the return to work has to be very slow. It has to be socially distanced. So if you're going to an office, you still need to be 2 metres away from the next person.
But Hillary, none of this is happening.
No, I think some of it is happening, but not,
Hardly
not
any.
enough.
Hardly
No.
any.
And
I was
that is why
walking around
NHS
yesterday.
staff are really worried
Yes.
about a second wave.
Yes, and I would be too, because the danger remains exactly the same. The threat remains the same. Our ability to tackle this virus with a vaccine or drugs at the moment is non-existent. So nothing has changed. All that's changed is we've gone from millions of people being inside to now millions of people being outside and mixing with other people on public transport and in workplaces.
All we've done is reduce the risk slightly because we're asking more people to work from home, and many people have found that they can do that and will continue to do that. Many firms are saying we're not going back to work for many months with our employees, which is good news. But, yeah, we've reduced the risk from effectively seeing 800, 900 deaths a day to less than that.
Piers is just breaking it down and asking them, well, what can you do and what you can't do? Look at the buses. Buses are full up. Man's them gone back to normal, but like he said in the last post, no one's going to catch COVID anyway. So I don't know why they're moaning about people being on the buses and being around each other, but then now they're saying there's going to be a second wave. Now they're saying that you're not going to catch it. Like, what is going on? And we still don't have definitive answers on what's going on. People are saying people are going back to work. That's certain jobs. Certain jobs are still not going back until, I'm hearing through the grapevines, some jobs are not going back until December. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? So there is a lot of unclear answers on what's going on right now. We don't know how summer's looking. We don't know how certain things are looking down in the future.